Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video. My female 21, fiance, male 23, won't tell his best friend I'm 6 months pregnant. The title pretty much sums it all. I'm 6 months pregnant and starting to show. I had dropped 40 pounds in a year and had only gained 15 pounds throughout my pregnancy. My stomach seems to be large. I'm self-conscious since it seems like I've gained a lot of weight back. To the point based on how he's behaved and what he's told me, my fiancé is happy about the kid. We hadn't planned for the baby, but when we found out I was pregnant, I was undecided about keeping the baby or not and left the decision up to him. He was certain that he did not want an abortion, and all of my friends who had had one told me that I would be sorry. This isn't an anti-choice message or anything. I simply wanted to clarify the issue. Anyway, I've grown to be quite enthusiastic about this pregnancy and the baby. The problem began around 3 months after I notified my family I was pregnant. Fiancé stated he would notify his family, but he just told his sister and requested her to tell their mother. His parents are separated, and he doesn't have frequent contact with his mother. I waited another month and a half before publishing about my pregnancy on social media, but I warned him at 4 months and that if he didn't tell them soon, they'd definitely find out through Facebook when I shared our ultra-around photographs. That is exactly what they did. His family seems overjoyed, so I'm not sure what he was scared about. His best buddy and he have been pals since middle school and spend hours playing Xbox together. They discuss about video games rather than personal matters, but I think I hear his buddy speak about his personal life more than my fiancé does. That's all right. But I think this is a significant issue to leave out of your closest friend's life. When I asked him a few months ago when he would inform him, he kept replying soon. His buddy just came to visit with us, and I begged him to tell him since I'm so self-conscious about my belly right now and there's baby things all over the house. He said that he would. He ended up pulling the ultrasound photographs off the counter and concealing my baby things that were on our changing table. I'm shocked he didn't take the baby's stocking down with him. He actually wiped it up and didn't tidy up the other minor details I had requested of him before his buddy arrived. He kept repeating he'd inform him his buddy is going to depart, but I don't believe he has. I'm in pain. He seemed to be embarrassed by me. I told him this, and he said that he isn't, but he didn't provide me a reason why he won't inform him. I simply worry that his buddy would find out after we have the kid and be disappointed that my fiancé would withhold such vital information from him. I'm upset because I can't even put my baby's clothing in a lovely little display in our room. Is there anybody who knows what may be causing him to feel this way, or whether it's really a huge deal? Maybe I'm exaggerating it because of my pregnant hormones. Update. He informed his pal by text message. All he said was, "Great, can you name it after me?" I believe he was concerned about losing time with his buddy due to the impending birth of his child, but I don't believe this will be a major problem. He also brought home a gorgeous antique wooden baby crib that belonged to his grandmother, and we couldn't wait to put it together. Thank you for your encouragement. Story 2. Wife cheated for 15 years of our 35 marriage. Got confirmation a few months ago. So here's the whole tale. My wife and I had been together since we were 4 years old. Her father and my father were high school football teammates, and my father was the best man at her father's first marriage. We used to play together as youngsters and lived only 2 streets away. My family had an antique shop, and her family often attended the events. Lisa would tell me she had come to see me and we would go around the grounds together. Her parents split when she was in 7th grade, and she moved in with her mother, so I only saw her at antique fairs with her mother. We continued to wander around with each other. We reconnected in high school, and she had a boyfriend. When she wasn't with her partner, she still flirted with me at antique exhibitions. So, when she ended her relationship with her boyfriend during our junior year, I asked her out. We were together for 3 months. She asked me to have with her, but I declined since I believed we should wait until we were married. I went home one night after a date at the fair since she claimed she was staying there. A few weeks later, she informed me that she had become pregnant after the carny. I offered to assist her, but she said that she would handle it alone, and that she was not ready for a long-term commitment. We obviously had a falling out. We continued running into one other at antique exhibitions, where she would invite me to accompany her on her walks. She even began assisting my dad as a ticket taker when they began producing concerts. Despite having other lovers, my wife continued to flirt with me. After graduation, I went to college. My sophomore year, I bumped into her at home for Christmas, and she requested for a ride home. I drove her home, and we spoke about it. She flirted with me again and wanted to be more physical, but I told her no. I returned home, and she phoned me a few days later. I phoned her a few weeks later to ask her to assist my mother as a ticket taker, but she said she couldn't since she had just had a kid. She motioned for me to come up. When I arrived at her place, I saw her and the baby. She said that she had always liked me but believed I was too good for her. We chatted and restarted dating. After a year of dating, she finally said that if I really loved her, I would have with her. I assumed that was okay since we were engaged, but then she informed me she was pregnant 2 weeks later. At the time, one of her male acquaintances asked my wife whether the children belonged to him. I felt it was a horrible joke, but after what occurred, I'm not so sure. We married, and I adopted her child. I assumed we had a good connection. Everyone believed we were a great pair, and her pals remarked she was blessed to have me to look after her. Her father died after 7 years, and we were going to a new state for employment. She contacted the same carny she slept with in high school and began cheating on him. She concocted intricate falsehoods, and once we relocated to the state, she moved in with him. We both consulted divorce attorneys, and I was effectively warned that I would lose custody of my children. He booted her out after 4 months because he didn't appreciate her lack of basic housekeeping skills or having to care for her children. We reconciled when she apologized and expressed her regret. She was pregnant with his kid once again. Everyone was kept in the dark about this knowledge. After approximately 5 years, one of her acquaintances began cheating on her spouse and introduced my wife to online services. My wife denied being on the sites, but when I discovered her email address and checked it up, she confirmed that she was on the site, but she denied having any relationships. She was simply there to talk about S&M since I wasn't into it. We relocated again, and I had various suspicions that she was cheating. When we were relocating again, she told me she was anxious and needed to stay with a friend. I told her she couldn't go and that I needed her assistance preparing for the move since we had to leave the following day. She kissed me, said she loved me, and then walked away. I discovered 3 months ago that she had departed to sleep with another guy. I completed everything, and we were allowed to resume our journey. I discovered another of her covert email accounts, and when challenged, she acknowledged to being on site but denied cheating. I urged her to open it and let me read it to make sure she wasn't just talking. She responded no, so I gathered my belongings and went out the door. Our youngest daughter ran up to me and begged me not to go, so I walked back inside. My wife and I attended therapy a few times. We had a quarrel 3 months ago. She confesses to spending 8 years on online dating services. I made a remark about how many guys she slept with. If it was once a year, it was 8 once a month. It was 96, and once a week, it was 416 men. She answered without thinking that there was just 2 people, not including the carny I knew about, so it wasn't too horrible. This is when I discovered she had abandoned me to sleep with a man when the family needed her assistance moving. She said she hadn't strayed on me in 13 years and that I needed to get over it. So I know that 2 of my 4 children are certainly not biologically mine, and perhaps a third is not biologically mine, and that my wife cheated on me with 3 guys over a 15-year period, and that these were long-term relationships that terminated due to our relocation. She says she hasn't cheated in over a decade. I had previously remained because of the children. I didn't want kids to grow up in a ghetto or without proper care. I performed all of the housework and cooking, tucked the kids into bed when they were little, and generally looked after them. Even though they are adults, I continue to assist them financially. They're all out of school now, so it's just my wife and me, but our youngest son, the one she had while cheating on her carny boyfriend, and his wife and children have moved in with us owing to the loss of his apartment and employment. I'm shocked she could do this to me when I was the ideal spouse. She even stated I was flawless, and when I asked why, she always answered, "I don't know." I suspected all along and remained, but now that I know, I want to go. She is the only woman I have ever slept with, and I work hard to build the fairy tale existence that everyone who sees us believes we have. All of this, though, is a ruse. I feel like I squandered all of my love and dedication on a lady who will just as easily find another person and never think about me again.